Hi and welcome back. It's an interesting one this week, and it's one actually that was requested by obviously an incredibly clever follower of mine, and it made me think, why have I never done this before? And it's a simple how to introduce new strong actives into your skincare routine, and then how to cope if your skin reacts badly. And it's a really clever idea, and I'm kind of thinking, I feel so stupid that I've never thought of doing it before for you guys. So by strong actives, I mean anything above 0.5% or 1% retinol. I mean anything above sort of 10% vitamin C, any strong acids, any strong peels. And that will depend, and that will be different for you as it would be for me, depending on your skin type. My skin is pretty tough, but I know that I have areas that are super sensitive. If you are a typical pale-skinned, pale-haired, pale-eyed person, you will be far more sensitive than somebody with more pigment in the skin that I have and dark eyes. So this is what you do, essentially. I mean, and I'll be really honest with you, this isn't what I do. It is what I do after it goes wrong. But you know, I always say, I'm your human guinea pig. I'm here to test it and have the reaction so you don't have to. So I have a tendency just to slap it all on and then think, why did I do that? That was really stupid. This is how I would advise you do it. First thing, I would do a patch test, and I say this to people the whole time. A patch test is basically leaving on something overnight, providing it's designed to be left on overnight, and obviously not a peel that's designed to be left on for half an hour. You would literally leave that for half an hour or 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And it's in an area that is out of the way, because if you react badly, then it's not such a problem. And my area would always be here in the hairline at the back of your neck. So it's hidden out the way unless you've got very short hair, and it's there. And I would put a little patch on, and it's exactly where you test hair dyes as well. I would put a little patch on and I would sleep in it overnight. And if it was a mask for 15 minutes, I'd leave it on for 15 minutes. And I would have this to hand. Surprise, surprise, you just need a flannel. This is my microfiber cloth. I would have it damp. And if it wasn't a resurfacing acid, and it started to get very red and very hot and very tickly and annoying, and I would just put some water on there and wipe it off. But basically, I would leave it on overnight. I would leave it on for a minimum of 12 hours, and I would see how my skin reacts. You test it here and not here because the skin on your neck is actually thinner. So this is much more sensitive. I'm looking in there. Sorry, this is actually much more sensitive than back here. And obviously this has got the sebaceous glands from the back of your hair as well. So here's an area not to test things, and here is an area not to test things. And the reason you don't test things around your nose is because it's the most vascularized area of your face, i.e. it has more blood vessels, and therefore it's most reactive. So it would red and tingle before any other area. It's particularly sensitive on me because I have perioral dermatitis, which is an ongoing problem that I battle with because I've tested so many products on your behalf. You're welcome. But it's also, funnily enough, because I've done so many lab tours and skin lab tours, it's also where they test skin products. If they're developing a new product on human subjects, they test it around here because they test for an irritation reaction around here. And this is the first place that will flag them up and say, oh, maybe we shouldn't recommend that acid is left on so long, or maybe we buffer that acid a bit better, or maybe we reduce that retinol strength because it's reacting to a lot of people here. So they'd get a tester of, say, 50 women, they'd test it around here, leave them on overnight, and then do a percentage of people that get a reaction. You've got to realise that most skincare companies err on the side of caution with their actives because they don't want people getting a bad reaction. They would rather make a product less efficient but safer, less efficient and less reactive, which is probably why I use a lot of clinical skincare, because, and by clinical I mean active levels and active ingredients at a higher level, because I know I can test them on my own skin. So that's the first thing. Where do you test them? Here. And I would test it for at least one night, maybe 2 nights, and then I would apply it all over my face. But I would always, always, always avoid here on me, just because I know. And when I say use around your eyes, if you're testing something the first time, it means the occipital bone, which is here. That bone under your skin where your eye socket sits. Now, you have something called a capillary action on your skin, because certainly when you get to my age and you've got lines, whatever you put here will wick into here anyway. It's a little bit, if you put SPF on your eyes, if you go any closer than that, and you'll know that, it will end up in your eyes. There's a capillary action that basically drives the skincare into the center of the eye socket. So, avoid the eye area, avoid the nose area, avoid the neck area until you know you're okay with it. Test it on the back of your neck. The other thing is, please don't add in too many active ingredients at once. And this, I have to blame the really brilliant budget active ingredient led skincare ranges like The Ordinary, because everything is so reasonably priced. I can't tell you how many times I get an email saying, I've been shopping at The Ordinary, here's my list. Partly because The Ordinary upsells, let's be honest here, if you speak to an expert on the line, i.e. salesperson, they've got a list as long as your arm and it's all high levels of actives. If you use all those at once, your skin is going to fall off, you're going to get a bad reaction. So what you do is you have a non-reactive cream cleanser, you have a non-reactive hyaluronic acid as your first step, or a glycerin serum and a moisturiser. You add in one active ingredient at a time until you know your skin is used to that active ingredient, and that will probably take 2 to 3 weeks. So don't start a retinol at the same time as you use a vitamin C. Don't start a vitamin C the same time you use a retinol. Don't start an acid the same time as you use a retinol, because I've done it all and I've suffered the consequences, so you don't have to. Slow and steady wins the race with your skincare. Once your skin has settled in and you know you're okay using that 1% retinol at night, then think about adding in a vitamin C in the morning. Some people I know can layer on an acid, a retinol and a vitamin C at night. Good on them, I'm not one of them. But to get to that point, you are going to have to slowly allow your skin to become tolerant to active ingredients. Now, what do you do if you have a bad reaction? The second most common email I get is, help, I've had a bad reaction to whatever. I mean, I had one the other day to a hyaluronic acid, which is virtually unheard of in my world, but you get a lot of retinol reactions, a lot of retinoid reactions, you get a lot of acid reactions. And this is what I recommend. I get so many DMs from people, and once I got an email from a woman saying, can you help me? I've had a really bad reaction to, and I really can't remember what it was. And I said, okay, between you and me, go to your pharmacist and say to them, I need 1% hydrocortisone cream, but it's not for my face, right? And she came back to me, she went, I am a pharmacist. And you're so right. You're so right, Nadine. Why did I not think about this? And she said, you're absolutely right. For short periods of time, for an emergency, this will take the sting, itch, burn, redness, reaction, lumps out of your face quicker than anything on the planet. It really will. I've even used this right up and around the eye. So it's quite a thick formulation. It's widely available, but you have to get it from your pharmacist. You don't need a prescription, but you need it from your pharmacist. If the chemist, and the chemist will say this to you, they say, have you used this before, madam? And you will say, yes. I don't care if you haven't, you say yes. Where's it for? Is it for your face? No, you say. It's for an insect bite. It's for a scratch, a rash, whatever it is, but it's always neck down. Because pharmacists have been told not to sell this to you for your face. And there's good reason for that. The reason is because some people, and if you go in and buy a new tube every 6 weeks, you could technically be using this for years on end. It's a low-grade steroid cream, and in the long term, it will thin and damage your skin. But you're not going to use it like that. You're going to use it for maximum 5 to 7 days, morning, noon and night, and you're going to use it because your skin's overreacted to a product that you've automatically stopped using. So don't carry on using the retinol or vitamin C and use this. That doesn't make sense. Take the active ingredient out that has irritated your skin, and this is your emergency. So that's the first thing you always need on hand. The other thing you can try is you can try an antihistamine cream. This is Antisam, which is widely available in the UK. These work in different ways. That dampens down your immune system, which it can safely do because you've taken the trigger ingredient out, which is whatever product caused the problem. This works to stop the release of histamine in the skin, which is that sort of redness and soreness and itchiness that you'll get. You can actually use the two of them together, although that normally works on its own. Okay, so this is more of an allergic reaction to something. So rather than overusing retinol and stressing your skin because you've stripped the barrier function or you've overused an acid, if you've used a product and it starts to itch quite quickly, you might actually be intolerant to something, allergic to, irritated by something in that product. That's where an antihistamine comes in. And I do know people that have been to GPs with really bad reactions, say to, most commonly I have to say it's to a fragrance or to a dye ingredient like a hair dye or something like that, and they're given not only antihistamine cream but antihistamine tablets, which you can get over the counter. So you can technically, if you are red and swollen, take an antihistamine tablet. I can't take antihistamine tablets, even the non-drowsy ones, they knock me out. So I always have an antihistamine cream on call. Then what do you do to repair your skin? Well, for a start, you strip everything back to the basics, which means no active ingredients at all. And it's a simple 3-step process. You use a unscented cream rinse off cleanser. This is the Hada Labo one. My God, it's brilliant. This is so good. This might actually be my all-time favourite rinse-off cream cleanser. With a cloth, this is the microfiber cloth from Primark, but obviously use whatever you want, a muslin cloth, a fresh flannel, morning and night, really gently. However, if you can't even bear to put a cleanser on your face, if you've got a microfiber cloth, you can use that just with water and just wipe really, really gently and slowly. Don't be surprised if your skin starts to peel a few days after you've had any reaction. It's normal. It's your skin basically shedding the damaged skin cells. The other thing I would use is the one thing I would always use is a hyaluronic acid. This happens to be the Hada Labo one that goes with that, because your skin will feel dehydrated and you want to put some sort of moisture back into it. And I just think an unscented, a multimolecular hyaluronic acid is just what you need. And then I'm going to say repair your barrier function with La Roche-Posay Cicaplast. This is the BUMPY 5. However, I do know people that can't even use that. So at which point, essentially what you're using is that and water. There's an entire range within the Cicaplast range which is designed to rebuild your barrier function, which is actually what has been compromised by testing new ingredients, leaving a mask on too long, you know, being allergic, having an irritated reaction to something. It's your barrier function that's gone. And so the product is getting into your skin when it shouldn't really be getting into your skin. It should be sitting on the surface of your skin. So there's also La Roche-Posay Toleriane, which is a lovely range. They have 3 moisturizers, so a serum, a fluid, and a cream. And they are all absolutely lovely, and they're really easy to use and keep on hand. I mean, list here, these are pretty much part of my regular routine anyway, because it's my job to test things for you. That is how you A, test a product, and B, look after your skin if you get a bad reaction, because it happens to all of us at some times. Do you know you can use a product one month and be fine with it and develop an intolerance to it the next month? Do you know you can use it at one time of the month, be fine, and the next time of the month you'll have a problem? Do you know that you can use it in summer, be fine, and in winter not be fine? Because what happens is all of those things, the time of the month, the weather, how much you've been stressed and unwell, it affects your barrier function, and your skin's barrier function's job is to keep irritants out. And some of those active ingredients can be mildly irritating in the short term. I really hope that's helped. I'm going to put the details of all the products down below, but really the secret is go to your pharmacist. Secrets between you and I. Get yourself some 1% hydrocortisone cream. Keep it on hand if you ever have an allergic reaction. It's absolutely brilliant. It's my go-to product. Please don't use it for more than 5 or 7 days, but that's more than enough time for your skin to recover from whatever's going on, I promise. You could try antihistamines, either a cream or a tablet for a short period of time. Again, 3 to 7 days at the most. If you want to then include the active ingredients back in, go slowly. Go steady. Some people simply cannot take retinol. Paula Burgon's a perfect case in point. Paula is the founder of Paula's Choice. She can't use retinol at any strength. She can't. I have more of a problem with high levels of vitamin C. I remember the first time I tried the ordinary 20% and I just lay in bed with my face feeling like it was going to fall off. And I know some people that use it in the morning under their makeup. We're all different. Treat our skin with respect. But this is pretty much how I've managed to get through 30 years of testing products on your behalf, and my face hasn't quite fallen off yet. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. All the details of all the products will be down below, and I'll see you soon.